Today I'm continuing my vlog of my journey to Melbourne and Sydney, and I'll be taking you to Sealife Aquarium. Hi guys, this is Stella Bella. Hey guys, welcome back to the HUBient channel. This is Stella Bella. Today I'm continuing my vlog of my journey to Melbourne and Sydney, and I'll be taking you to Sealife Aquarium. Now, some of you may remember I did a video on Sealife Aquarium in Melbourne, so today I'll be comparing the two a little bit as well as showing you around. Now, Sealife Aquarium in Sydney is right near Darling Harbour, which is a tourist destination of its own. And it's very close to the Wildlife Reptile Park as well as Madame Tussauds. So you can literally make a day of it by checking out all of the famous tourist destinations all in the one place. And as per all Sealife, as soon as you go into the entrance, you get the opportunity to get your photo taken, which will be turned into a souvenir waiting for you upon exit. Just like the Sealife in Melbourne, you get to witness creatures big and small. They're both equally tranquil and relaxing. However, I would personally say that Sealife in Sydney feels a little bit more intimate. And I'm not sure whether it's because the Melbourne Sealife is a bit more spacious, a little bit bigger. I haven't looked into the actual figures, but Sydney Sealife seems a little bit more active. Everything seems a little bit closer together and almost on top of each other, which actually gives off more of a family-friendly and intimate vibe. It almost feels like you are there with the creatures rather than there just as a spectator. One of the sea life that Sydney Aquarium has that Melbourne doesn't have is the Albino Lungfish, which you just caught a glimpse of there. And here he comes back again. Now the camera actually doesn't do it justice because it is ginormous. And there's also this guy. The Sydney Sealife does have a lot of creatures that the Melbourne one doesn't, and at the same time it has all of the creatures that Melbourne does have, which I guess is to be expected seeing as Sydney does have a larger population. Sydney Aquarium also have these windy paths that takes us up and down towards their water tunnels. It's actually quite creative because while you're in there, there's a little voiceover that gives you fun facts about some of their most popular fish. Now, underwater tunnels are breathtaking regardless, but Sydney Sealife has two main water tunnels. There's one that features most of the stingrays, and one that features Sealife's most famous and popular attraction, and that is a dugong named Pig. And that's him right there. Pig is approximately 25 years old and eats about 50 kilos of lettuce a day. So now we know where our lettuce shortage has gone. But he is absolutely adorable, and I remember seeing him in Sealife a few years back. And this is all he does. Literally, there is a canteen of about 5 staff that works day in, day out to put together his lettuce for his feeding. And he will just eat, swim a few laps, come back and eat again. Truly living the life. It is the only dugong in Sealife, and it's definitely an attraction that the Melbourne Sealife does not have. And despite being the only dugong in Sealife, there is an entire enclosure called Dugong Island that's dedicated to Pig. And as you can see here, this external area is the external side of the underwater tunnels that you just saw. On the right hand side is where all these stingrays live, and on the other side is where Pig lives with a lot of the other fish. I suppose they need to keep them separated because the stingrays may hurt Pig, and it's really thoughtful the way they've created this. And this is what I mean by being really interactive, being able to see up close and personal from all different angles just how these creatures live together. Now, after the dugong enclosure, we've got more windy paths to take us to the underwater tunnels where the sharks live. Again, so creative with the layout. Not a single bit of space is wasted. And as you go down this windy path, there are more fun facts about the sharks you're about to see. Now, to be honest, the shark enclosure is a little bit scary. It's a lot darker than the other underwater tunnels, and as soon as you walk in, there's a bunch of smaller sharks that are asleep above you. It's actually quite looming. But again, this is all part of the intimate and up close and personal feel of Sydney Sealife, which I quite appreciate. And as you can see here, you do get very close. Videos don't do it justice, but the detail that you can see, literally every single tooth from the shark's mouth is less than a meter away from you. Now, after the sharks, let's go for something a little bit cuter and more chill, which is the penguins. Now, at the very start, the penguins were already there. I'm not quite sure why that is. They had a smaller enclosure that we passed already, but this is the larger enclosure. And they offer a little boat ride with the penguins, which unfortunately wasn't open when I went there. But that is a service that is on offer that you might want to plan your trip around next time. Now, as with all penguin enclosures around the world, I'm not sure why this is, but the windows are always so dirty. I'm guessing this is the penguins' fault, not the caretakers, but it does mean it's harder to see. But they do have this section here where you can see underwater where the penguins live. And I actually was able to capture this moment straight after their feeding, where they all jumped in the water to have a play and a swim. And I am so glad I caught this. I literally had my mouth open the entire time watching them, and I can't believe they all jumped in at the same time. And then next we have the rock pools and the Great Barrier Reef exhibitions. Now this is really cute and obviously made for the younger kids and families because they do have the virtual reality set up over by the side of the rock pool as well. And a lot of little segments, little sections for you to see more and learn more about the Great Barrier Reef. And of course they have my favorite, the jellyfish, which actually look like little science experiments here. They were all in the glass cylinder tubes. Not sure what that was, but aesthetically they look really nice. Then a little bit further down is another underwater tunnel, and this is the one that I talked about earlier, which is more for display. This is part of a much larger aquarium filled with a variety of different sharks, fish, rays, and this turtle that seems to have his head stuck inside the rocks. But the water sealing glass meant that it actually felt like you were underwater with these fish, which is quite different to the other underwater tunnels that we went past. Sealife Sydney is open 7 days a week, closing at 5 p.m. on weekends and 4 p.m. on weekdays, so make sure to get yourself a ticket nice and early. They close with the last entry an hour before closing time, and you can purchase tickets online as well. Plan your trip, make a day of it, and get your tickets from visitsealife.com/Sydney. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I look forward to bringing you more content from my trip in Melbourne and Sydney. Until then, please make sure to subscribe, follow, and like our social media. Stay updated on our content. And follow me on social media as well. My Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is stellabella.au, and I would love to hear from you. Until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Stay relaxed, tranquil, and I look forward to speaking with you then. Bye.